As we start a brand new month, now's the time to examine the habits that we've created so far this year. Here to help us really think critically about happiness versus selfishness is happiness coach Dannie De Novo. Welcome.
It's so good to be with you.
It's great to be with you. So she sent an email kind of talking about this topic, and I was so intrigued, as were the producers, that we wanted to dive in further because you say that people who actually think they're happy aren't really happy. That makes me sad.
It is a little sad. When I started coaching, people would come to me and say, Dannie, make me happy, make me happy. And I'd say, okay, this is what you have to do this and this and this. And I say, yeah, I don't really want to do all that. I kind of want you to help me, get the stuff that I want, which was, a relationship, the perfect family, the home, career success, status, everything that, we kind of look for outside of ourselves. And at first I was hesitant to help them with that. But then I realized sometimes happiness is about the journey of getting everything you want, because then you see you don't really need that external stuff. And then it shows you what you really need to be happy.
Oh, that's an interesting take. So what do people generally, when they come to you, do they generally think happiness as a definition is, well, I'm sure maybe they don't put it that way, but about the material things, about, all the things that you listed off?
They think it's about stuff that is external to them, right? Happiness is kind of like this treasure hunt of a life. I have this bucket and I go along and I check off milestones and I collect the things I'm supposed to and I put them in my bucket. And they think, well, when my bucket's full, then I'll be happy. But unfortunately, we fill up that bucket and then we don't get very far and we realize, oh, this really isn't making me that happy because I'm relying on external things.
Right.
And this happened to me. I had the job, the house, the husband, all of it, and I wasn't really that happy, but I didn't know what to change because no one ever said, do this, this, and this, you'll be happy. They just said, if you live your life this way, then you'll live a happy life, right? It took my daughter coming along for me to realize that she was copying everything that mommy was doing. I was making dinner one night, she started copying me, and all of a sudden I had this realization, oh my goodness, I'm teaching her how to live this miserable life. So that's when I set out to learn everything to know about happiness. And of course,
for you.
When you learn about happiness, you realize it's not about all of these things that we think that we need to be happy.
Exactly. So what have you learned that happiness is?
Happiness is a self-sustaining state of being where you feel connected, you feel grounded, and you feel at peace, right? So we're not up here in the clouds all day long, right? You can't sustain that.
No.
But it has to come from internally. And if you really want to be happy, I have learned that you have to be brave. That is the key to happiness.
All right, now I'm like, okay, how am I brave? That was actually my word. You have to choose a word.
Yes.
That was my word in January, was brave.
That's a great word.
But I'm not sure I've been so brave. So now I'm really diving into this. So for us to achieve that happiness, brave in our daily tasks, brave in our thoughts, how do we manifest that?
Brave all the way across. So I say two things. Number one is you have to be brave enough to listen to that little tiny voice inside of your heart, because it will tell you everything you need to know about your happiness, right? But you have to be brave enough to say, okay, yeah, that's what it really said, not this or this. This is what I really need. And then you have to be brave enough to act in conformity with that little voice, which is really hard to do because it doesn't matter what anyone else has to say about it. It matters what you have to say about it.
Exactly.
So that's in your thoughts, that's in your daily habits, and it's also about taking risks all of the time, right? I think happiness is when opportunity knocks and you answer. So, get out there, do those things that scare you, because you'll find on the other side of it, you learn so much more about yourself that leads you one step closer to this idea of happiness, which is a lifelong journey. It's not something you're just going to find tomorrow and then it's going to stay there. You've got to work at it every day.
Yeah, and happiness coach, what a great job.
It's the best job ever.
What are you do? You're just really kind of talking to your clients and giving them the tools or the guidelines maybe to creating this happy life.
I give them the tools, but I also hold up the mirror for you, right? Because it's easy to sort of sneak out of things, give yourself excuses, but if I'm there kind of showing you where you're not being brave and where you're kind of lying to yourself, it's a lot harder to get away with it.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. And that's important for us to have that self-reflection in those moments and not just have somebody telling us what we think we want to hear. And lastly, do you have to worry about happiness every single day? What would you say?
Yes, you have to take care of it every day. It has to be a non-negotiable for you. If you want to get buff, if you want to look good for the summer, you've got to go to the gym and you've got to go consistently, right? But when you get there, you can't stop going. You've got to keep going. And it's the same thing with your happiness. So start your day with a little bit of practice and make sure that everything else gets pushed aside until you do that, because you need it for yourself. No one else is going to do it for you.
This is so great. Thank you so much, Danny. You've made me so happy today. And we'll make sure everyone knows, where can they find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, I'm at Dannie De Novo. You can also go to my website, DannieDeNovo.com.
You're the best. I'm so happy. All right.